Welcome to Dixon Photography. My name is Jannis Dirksen. We're at the end of October 2016, and some days ago we took some images here in the park in front of the house, and it was raining, it was bad weather, it was gray, and I want to show you what you can get even when the weather is really bad and how you can get it. So what we did this time, we asked a friend who is not used to photography, ask a friend to take pictures of us. And here are the images straight out of the camera. You always have a CR2 file, which is the RAW, and a JPEG. So here are all the images without any editing, all done in camera, very fast, very easy. And let's take a look a little bit larger right here. So this is the first image I took. What I saw immediately was it's not the color that I saw. I wanted it to be warm. So I just changed the white balance and got this image. Now, this is automatic white balance, this is shadows. It's very easy, and it's very easy to see. If you don't like the colors of an image, just change the white balance. You don't need to change anything else. So I took some images of Anna just to set up the exposure and the settings, and then I gave the camera to our friend, and she took some pictures of us. And these are all the images straight out of the camera. There is no editing, there is nothing else done to these images. These are just these JPEG images that you see here. Of course I edit all images, but what I always like to do is get the images nice in camera so I can show the images immediately to the people that I photograph. Now again, the white balance. This is automatic white balance, this is shadows. The rest is the same. I have nothing changed but the white balance, and it's such a big influence on the image, changing the white balance from automatic, like here. Well, automatic often works, especially with daylight and sun. In shadows, to me, often it's too cold. This white balance to me is too cold. This is how I want it. I want it to be warm. I want it to be autumn. And now I also get nice skin colors here. And you don't have to edit anything. Now this is shot with the Canon 6D with the 135mm lens at f2.0, so you see not all images are sharp. I've just selected some, and but that's okay, because the person who took the images is not used to working with that camera. It's not used to working with that lens. And to me it's totally fine if some images are not all sharp. Now you see it was raining. I just put on this jacket. We had other jackets that we used. Now here's Nadine. She took some images of us. We took some images of her as well. And what's important here is the light. So where does the light come from, and how can we capture it? So let's get back to the folder. Now here are all the images we took. This is not a selection, these are all images. It's always the same image 2 times, one in RAW and one in JPEG. And the JPEG is always the final image made from the camera. And when I go through these images, there are some images that might not be 100% sharp, but in the end I really like the colors and how they look. And usually, because Nadine called me and said it's raining, don't we want to do it another day? And very often people think about, when the weather is bad, changing the date and shooting on another day. And I personally think there is no bad weather for photography. Now here it was really raining, it was really not it was not nice weather. We got all wet. But I think they're really nice images. And now I just said the light is important. Now here's what I mean. I know where the sun is coming from the other side. We're shooting now against the sun. You don't see any sun because it's all gray, but there is light coming from one direction. And you see here is light and here is darkness. So the sun is coming from here. Now, many people, when they are photographed, look into the camera. Here it doesn't work because Anna's eyes are very dark and the face should always be the brightest part of an image. So I took this image and this part is nicely lit, this not, so Anna just has to look into this direction. And that's it. And this is, nothing has changed. It's just the direction we look, because the sun is coming from here, from this direction, and so we look into this direction, not into the camera. Because when I look into the camera, we will both have dark eyes like this. And this is a very bad image from the lighting point, and she doesn't look nice. On this image, she looks very nice. And you don't have to edit anything. Here again, now I said here comes the light and you see it here on her face. Anna has her face a little bit up. Why? Because so all of her face is well lit. And I put her head a little bit up because I know where the light is coming from, and that's why I do this, what I'm doing right here. And I know I'm dark, but it's okay. When the man is a little bit dark, that's fine, but the lady has to be well lit. It's always the lady who has to be beautiful. The man doesn't need to be beautiful. So I know the sun is coming from this way, so what we did now, we changed the position of the camera. So Nadine with the camera now stands here on this image. We are right here, and we both look into this direction, and Nadine is standing here, but a little bit more to the left, right here. So all of our faces are well lit because the sun is coming from behind the camera. And this is all straight out of the camera, no editing. These are just these JPEGs from this folder. And this is what you can send to the client immediately. The Canon 6D has a Wi-Fi function. I can put the images when we go home directly onto my phone and send it via Facebook to the customer, to the client, before the client is at home. And now there is no client right here because we are on the pictures, but that's how I do it on a wedding day. On a wedding day, when there is dinner, I put on the Wi-Fi on my camera and put some images on my phone and send some images. If this would be a couple image or this on a wedding day, I would send these images, some of these images to the couple the same evening. So they can put it up on Facebook. They can put it up on Instagram with their hashtag. And I always want my clients to see the images. And therefore, I have to have great images straight out of the camera. And it's very easy. It's just 4 parts: ISO, shutter speed, aperture, and white balance. Nothing else. The autofocus is irrelevant for the image. The autofocus is important when you shoot, but for the image, it doesn't matter which autofocus you use. Aperture, ISO, white balance, shutter speed. That's 4 parts, and you can learn it in a couple of hours, and you will never have to worry about it again. So some more images. Now I know this is very dark, and I'm standing here, and I know it. And so I put my head a little bit higher, so I have more light here. Now when I put the head down, now this image might work because I'm smiling, and but this is much better with the light. So I look a little bit up, and this is, to me, this is too dark here in the eyes. Anna has her head up, not because she's looking up at something, because she knows the sun is coming, the light is coming from above. So to not have dark eyes, she has to put her head up so that the light is coming into her eyes. And this is all done in camera, no editing, very fast with the 135mm lens on the Canon 6D. And I just wanted to show you images straight out of the camera, how they look like when the weather is really bad. Now this is not on a sunny day, this is when it's really, really bad and raining and we're really wet. I think that's it. We had 2 cameras, the 6D with the 135, which we look at now, and another 6D right here with the 50mm 1.8. Here, the same situation. I'm standing here. Here's the sun coming from. You see it here. Here's the light. And I don't look into the camera. I look into this direction because I know then I have a nicely lit face. Now this would also work. But I don't look directly into the camera because then the face would be dark. And I think these are nice images, and I would send this image to a client directly. Of course, I edit all images, and I would straighten this a little bit because I'm not standing straight right here. But just to have a first view, a first impression, a first feedback. You know, clients don't know how the images look. And when you send them 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 directly afterwards, not only will you be looked as a professional because you did it really fast, but your client has a much better feeling about how the images probably will look like. So that's it. That was shooting in autumn during the rain. Now you see on none of these images you see the sky. Why? Because the sky is gray. The sky is not beautiful. The sky is just white. And I don't want white parts in my images. So on none of these images you see the sky. Because I chose, firstly, to shoot standing under something because it was raining. Secondly, the bokeh of the camera lens you will only see when you have something in the background. If you don't have something in the background, you don't see the quality of the lens, the bokeh. So on none of these images you see a sky. And that's because I've chosen to let it out of the image because the sky is gray. I only choose things in the frame that I like, that are beautiful. And these colors are really beautiful. When it rains, everything is more intense. The colors are more intense. And maybe you can profit from what I just told you for the next shooting. And even if it's raining, or if the sky is gray, which in Germany right now, October, November, December, January, February is always the case, I just leave it out of the frame. I don't want the sky if it's not nice. And that's what you can get straight out of the camera. That's it.